I'd like to call this joint Dalton-Whitfield Planning Commission to order for, what is today? December 14th, 2025. December 15th.
15th.
I will turn it over to Chairman Litterdale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to say that we do have a quorum tonight. Mr. Ramsey is away. Second order of business is to read the minutes or approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Any additions, deletions, motions?
Move to be accepted.
Octavio makes
Second.
Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, tonight we do have 12 requests to review. Before we get to them, Mr. Ethan Calhoun of the Northwest Georgia Regional Office will review the procedures and the requirements for those who'd like to speak tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting tonight will follow our set agenda. You can see that on the screen. You can also grab a copy if you'd like one out front of the front door there. And the chairman will follow the agenda. The procedures for our meeting tonight, for each item on this agenda, will be exactly the same. The purpose of tonight is to hold a public hearing to hear comments for and against each item, and to hear the petitioner explain why they are requesting to rezone their property and what their plans are. So when the chairman opens the item on the agenda, opens up the rezoning hearing, I'll come forward. I'm going to give a brief presentation to the Board of Commissioners and the Planning Commission and give a recommendation from staff to approve or to deny the request. Once my comments have been heard, the chairman's going to ask for the petitioner, the individual who's requesting to rezone their property, to come forward and answer any questions and describe what their plans are, what their needs may be. And once the petitioner's comments have been heard, the chairman is going to ask if anyone here tonight other than the petitioner would like to speak in favor of this rezoning. Once all comments in favor of this item have been heard, the chairman's going to ask if anyone would like to speak in opposition of this item. It's very important that if you're here tonight to speak in opposition of any of the items on the agenda, and again specifically speak in opposition, not that you're just opposed to it, but if you plan to come to the podium and make any statements, there's some forms out front. They're required by state law. They're just campaign disclosure forms. Please grab one of those out front and note on that form the item on the agenda that you're speaking in opposition of. And please make sure to sign that form and print your name clearly so that we can make sure that we get your statements recorded in the record and your name correct. It's very important that we want to hear your comments, but also be able to put those into the record to be sent forward to both the Board of Commissioners and Mayor and Council of the City of Dalton. So once the opposition's remarks have been heard, then the chairman is going to give an opportunity to the petitioner to come back forth and to address any of the concerns that were made in the opposition's remarks. And if the petitioner doesn't introduce any new information in their rebuttal, that public hearing will be closed. The chairman will move to the next item on the agenda, and that same procedure will follow suit for each item. That's in order to keep order in the meeting tonight. Again, during the comments for and against, only individuals speaking should be here at the podium and have filled out that opposition form. And when you fill that form out before you speak on your way to the podium, if you would stop by me on the corner over there and hand me your form just so we can have that, and again follow the procedure and follow the law. That'll allow us to again maintain order. So if you have a comment that you want to make, please hold that until you come forward to the podium, just so that we can maintain order and make sure that everyone's comments made tonight for and against can be made part of the record. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ethan. The first request is by Paul Bagby. Are you here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure you're here. He's seeking to rezone a tract of land from suburban agriculture to rural residential, from SA to R5, 3.4 acres along Red Clay Road. This one is in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have, again, a recommendation to rezone from suburban agriculture to rural residential And the purpose of this would be for the petitioner to be able to subdivide the subject property or to divide the subject property into a tract of smaller than 5 acres. And we can see here with the subject property at 3.4 acres would be less than the 5 acres required as a minimum in the general agriculture zone district. If we look at the zoning map, we'll see the subject property lies at the convergence of the R5 and GA and SA zone districts. So when we look at the zone districts, again, the R5 that the property is being requested to be zoned to is adjacent to the subject property, as well as the SA zone district. I may have said 5 acres a second ago. 3 acres is the minimum for SA. My apologies. Again, SA's current zoning request would be to R5. Purpose of this request would be to have a smaller lot than the 3 acres minimum that we have in the suburban agriculture district. Here's an aerial photograph of the area. You can see the development of the area. This is ultimately a very rural area. Both the R5, the SA, and the GA all look very similar, low density, overall larger lots, but we do see some lots of similar size to the subject property and even smaller. So we do see some existence of similarly sized lots. This is a very rural part of the community. Sewer is obviously not available in this area, so we don't anticipate an R5 rezoning having a significant effect on the developable potential of this area in a manner that would change the character. So therefore, balancing that with the rural residential character area, the existing zoning, and again, the lack of the type of infrastructure that would allow the proliferation of a density that would change this area, staff recommendation is that this would not create any sort of dissimilar character or create any sort of economic pressure on any adjacent properties or any burdensome infrastructural issues with public infrastructure. So the recommendation is to approve from staff. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Bagby? Yes, please. Could you state your name and address for the record?
Paul Bagby, and I just agree with what he said, so.
No other comments?
No, I just given my acre to my son for him to build a house on.
Okay, very good. Any questions here?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak in favor? Anybody who'd like to speak in opposition? Excellent. We will close the public portion on that request and move on. By the way, I'm going to be asking for the petitioners to just raise their hand. I just want to make sure you're here before we continue on. The next one is from Mr. Michael Fowler. Okay, thank you. He's seeking to rezone from R2 to GA, 7.9 acres located at 1808 Greason Drive. This is in the county. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, we have a request from R2, low-density single-family residential, to general agriculture for a tract of land a little under 8 acres in size. And the petitioner, again, has made this request in order to allow for the addition of a second single-family detached dwelling. Based on the subject property's limited road frontage, it is not a property eligible for division in the R2 zone district, or, well, for that matter, any zone district, with the limited amount of road frontage that it has, although it is large enough, certainly, to divide, even in the existing R2 zone district. But the general agriculture zone district would allow for the addition of a second single-family detached dwelling on this property without it being divided. And, or it could potentially be divided under the family easement exemption, which would be afforded in the general agriculture zone district. And in this case, the general agriculture zone district, you can see, surrounds a subject property east and west, very common zone district in this area, small island of R2 zoning that the subject property occupies. When we look at the zoning map, we see more of an agricultural and a rural state than we really do a suburban style development pattern. So we wouldn't see a disruption either in the zoning nor the development pattern of this area. The property is also small, too small to be used for large intensive scale agriculture that would have any sort of negative impact on the adjacent single family properties. And it's within the rural residential zone district, which is a perfect fit for the general agriculture zone district. And that would lead us to recommend this property be approved for the rezoning to general agriculture. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
None? All right, thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Mr. Fowler?
Michael Fowler, 1904 Cascade Way. I would just like to add, the main purpose for me asking for the rezoning at this time is the property has a detached garage on it that I would like to do an addition on. At this time, it's over the 1,500-foot limit in the R2 zoning. So by going to a GA, that would allow me to build the addition. And then sometime in the future, possibly turning that building into a barnuminium.
Okay. Any questions? Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well, we will close the public portion on that request and move on. Next request is from Edward Ponders. Thank you, sir. To rezone from GA to R5, parcel of land 11 acres located at 3023 Hickory Flats Road in the county. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this rezoning going from GA to R5, general agriculture, to rural residential. Property currently contains one single-family detached dwelling, and the petitioner, their request was made in order to divide this property. In other words, we have several of these tonight, properties to be divided, several of these for family members, I believe. And this particular case here, we would see that the zoning map looks similar to what we saw before. We do have the general agriculture zone district in this area. We also have the R5, both dominant districts in this area, both along the highway in this area, or the roadway in this area, north and south. R5 borders the subject property on one of its boundaries, the western boundary across the street. So this is not an unusual zone district for this area. It's also, again, another area limited in things like public sewer, where we would see significant changes to the area based on the lot size of R5 with sewer. So this is going to be determined by things like the Environmental Health Department or Department of Environmental Health, and the ability of the property to perk for a on-site septic system. Here we see a very rural area overall. Of course, the rural residential zone district is quite common, and we do see a number of properties, tracts of land of similar size to what is being proposed on the subject property. It's also within the rural agricultural reserve character area. Overall, this character area is intended to protect the agricultural and the forested areas of the county. It's likely that the reason that we see this character area affecting the subject property in this overall area is proximity to the Conasauga River and some floodplains that affect this area. Of course, those would be governed by, again, things like the ability of the property to perk for septic system. But we see the R5 zone district throughout the area and do not anticipate this particular request having any negative effect on either the character of the area or the value of any of the adjacent properties. So the recommendation from staff is to approve. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Mr. Ponders?
Can I come up because he can't walk?
That's fine. State your name and address for the record.
Tina Ponders, 3023 Hickory Flats Road, south to east, Dalton, Georgia, 30721.
Excellent. You have any comments, any additions?
No, other than, I just need that because my husband, like I said, is disabled, and we were just trying to give our child an acre where we'd have somebody down there with us. And like I said, people on the other side, they have several trailers and stuff there.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well, we'll close the public portion on that request. The next one is to hear from Wise Home Builders. Who's representing? Okay, thank you, sir. Seeking to rezone from GA to R2, 10.29 acres located along the west right-of-way of Prospect Road in the county. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Here we have a request from general agriculture to low-density, single-family residential. Of course, the general agriculture zone district applies to the subject property currently. We see the general agriculture district is common throughout this area. We also see the R5 and the R2 district, also common and well-established, both adjacent to the subject property and across the area. This request would ultimately allow the subject property to be divided and be developed with single-family detached dwellings. The lot sizes would be a minimum of 15,000 square feet if it were on sewer, but again, this being an area unserved by sewer, lot size will be largely determined by the ability of the soil to perk. And when we look at the subject property and what development exists around it, again, we see the R2 zone district to the north, and we see the development of very similar density, very similar type housing, just to the north of the subject property. The R2 zone district is the second most restricted residential zone district in the zoning ordinance, requires only a site-built, single-family detached dwelling, one per lot with a minimum size of 1,200 square feet of heated floor space. So we don't anticipate any negative impact, again, on the character of this area or on any economic impact it might have on the adjacent properties. With that being said, recommendation is to approve.
Any questions? Good. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Sir?
Danny Wise, 1115 Tucker School Road. We're just going to divide it up into 1 acre tracts, 10 different houses. And there'll be probably around 350,000 square foot, price per range on the
Plus,
houses.
that's a big old house.
Yeah, no, we don't do that big. Around 1,500, 1,550, something like that's what we're looking at. We also did the other ones right on the other side of the road up there last year. So we're doing exactly the same thing. We're just coming across the other side of the road.
So you're doing 1 acre lots?
Yeah, 1 acre lots.
Okay.
And we have had the soil tested, so it works fine for it.
Well, that's plenty of room,
Everything's fine.
plenty of
Okay.
room, I think. Any other
No
questions?
questions.
Like to have it? No? Okay. Very good, thank you. Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well, we'll close the public portion on that request. Next one to hear from Jerry Johns. Are you out there? All right, thank you, sir. He's seeking to rezone from general commercial C2 to R2, 1.61 acres located along the south right-of-way of Lower Dug Gap Road. This is also in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very simple request. We can see the subject property is part of a small spot zone of general commercial zoning entirely surrounded by the R2 zone district. The petitioner simply wants the subject property to be the same zoning as his adjacent property to the west. So this rezoning would allow that. It would also shrink the spot zone of general commercial and reduce any potential type of commercial development in this area that might actually have a negative effect. So this is a great opportunity to reduce the spot zones. Staff recommendations to approve. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. Mr. Johns?
I'm Jerry Johns, 223 Lower Dug Gap Road Southwest. Just asking to be checking from commercial to residential. That it?
Okay. No questions? Very good. Thank you, sir. Does anybody like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very good. We'll close the public portion on that request. Next one is for Dennis Flowers. Are you here?
Melissa may be here,
Anybody representing Dennis Flowers or
or Melissa.
Melissa Flowers?
Coming, I think.
Oh, she out? Okay, just want to check, make sure you're here. Okay. You want some seats down front if you like. Ms. Flowers is seeking to rezone from GA to R5, tract of land, 2 acres located along 437 Cohutta Beaverdale Road. This one is in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have another request here in order to divide a property that's currently zoned general agriculture, divide off a portion of a property that's smaller than 5 acres. Again, similar to the previous requests that we've heard. Also, you'll see the zoning map, general agriculture, very common district in this area. The R5 zone district, these are pretty mutual zone districts in the county, particularly where there is no sewer, and R5 is limited by lot size based on the ability of the property to support an on-site septic system. So when we look at the subject property, it's similarly sized or proposed to be a similar size to several of the adjacent and nearby R5 properties in this area. So the proposed rezoning wouldn't introduce a zone district that's dissimilar and wouldn't introduce a lot size or development pattern overall that would be dissimilar to the area. Here we can see the aerial photograph, again, very rural. Density, again, will be limited by a lack of sewer. And the subject property is also within the rural residential character area of the comprehensive plan. And while that character area does intend to maintain a rural character, again, the lack of sewer in this area does not give the grounds, we believe, for there to be any change in character based on the R5 zone district and the existing development in the area. Recommendation is that this request can be approved. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So how many residences would you think would be built on this property? Would it take 2?
On this property containing a total of 2 acres, likely, from what I understand, it's proposed to be a tract alone of 2 acres and not further divided. The property that would be divided from would be the parent tract to the north, which is a slightly larger property. So based on road frontage, it could potentially be 2 lots, and soil type will determine that as well.
Thank you.
But
Is this part of the 15 acres? Or it'll be a total of 17 acres?
this would be part of the larger tract, right, to the north, that you can see, that kind of a flag lot. So they would be proposing, and this, of course, is divided from that. There we go. Here's that's a handy slide for me to pull up there. That illustrates it for us. You can see the 15 acres overall and the 2 acres in addition that would be divided. So we do have the meets and bounds, as has been surveyed, and would be able to accommodate what the petitioner has proposed. And it wouldn't affect they didn't request to rezone the entire 15 acres, just the 2-acre portion that they'd like to divide.
Other questions? Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if you just state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Melissa Flowers. I live at 325 Viewmont Drive, Tunnel Hill, Georgia.
Okay, you have any comments, additions?
It was my mother and father's, and they've both since passed away. And Dennis is my brother, and we're the heirs. And it was where they lived in a house. A house is on this. And so we're selling the house and the 2 acres off of it.
Very good. No other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody want to speak in opposition? Very well. Close the public portion on that request. The next request is to hear from SDH Atlanta LLC, who's seeking to rezone from GA to R3, a parcel of land, 61.2 acres, located along the right-of-way, I'm going to say Rauschenberg Road. My copy here says Reed Road, but it's off Rauschenberg. Ethan, this is in the county. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And here we have a request to rezone from general agriculture to
Ethan, hold
medium.
up 1 second. Y'all have a good question?
Here's that.
Sam,
Okay,
Winkler and Grant.
thank you.
Okay.
This request, again, from general agriculture to be rezoned to medium-density R3. And this request would be in order for a major subdivision development on the subject property, speculated to be approximately 150 single-family detached dwellings based on the application. And when we look at the zoning map in this area, we do see that this property is zoned general agriculture, and there are general agriculture tracts adjacent to the east and west, a little smaller than the subject property. Look across the street to the north, across Rauschenberg Road, where the subject property has road frontage, and there's an R3 zone district there. Very similar scale, size, and character of development that is being proposed here on the subject property. We see the R2 zone district adjacent to the subject property, but keep in mind that the largest adjacent R2 zone district there is not developed for single-family, low-density residential. It is developed as part of an elementary school campus, New Hope Elementary, just to the north. And the surrounding tracts, mostly around the east and west and the south, are within the R5 zone district. The majority of those are developed, and they're developed in a manner that is much more low-intensive than R5 would permit. But there is a tract to the east, both the general agriculture and R5, both of those tracts currently are undeveloped. The R5 zone district would allow a similar, in fact, the R5 zone district allows at a minimum the same size of lot that the R3 zone district permits when public sewer is available. Sewer is, of course, available at this location as it supplied or services the development to the north. No anticipation for any burden on sewer or public water infrastructure if the development were to be approved. And any extensions or expansions of that infrastructure would, of course, come at the expense of the developer. In terms of changing the zoning map, the only change it would make would that it would change from the GA to the R3 zone district, which again already has a foothold to the north of the subject property as a consistent zone district as part of a major subdivision development. This would be a continuation of that to the south across Rauschenberg Road. When we take a look at the character of the area, we see that density around the subject property is lower than we do take note of to the north. Based on that, there is somewhat of a rural character to this area that we need to bear in mind. And we have to also consider that the R3 zone district is fairly restricted in its potential development in that the only permitted use essentially in R3 is single-family detached residential homes. No manufactured homes, no duplexes, single-family detached dwellings, and those dwellings must be a minimum of 1,000 square feet of heated floor space. And with the R5 zone district, that is again an adjacent zone district, duplexes are permitted, manufactured homes are permitted. In the general agriculture zone district, animal husbandry, manufactured homes, uses like that are permitted. So in terms of an economic impact, one could argue it would be a net neutral impact. The subject property's topography is significant enough that things like poultry production and commercial poultry production and those types of uses would be highly unlikely given the topography and a lack of prudency to develop for that. So we would see that as a net neutral on the negative impact of property values in this area. Here we have the rural residential character area, and this property lies really right. You can see three character areas converging around the subject property. The suburban over to the east across the railroad tracks, to the north, the emerging suburban character area, which is intended for areas that can sustain additional residential development or infill development, and then the rural residential character area. It is worth pointing out that the rural residential character area does recommend a lower unit per acre lot density than would be allowed in the R3 zone district. But when we look at the adjacent zoning around the subject property, the R5 zone district, the R3 zone district to the north, this character is established in this area, and we do see both suburban and neighborhood-style development. So we wouldn't necessarily say that this would create an entering wedge that would have a negative effect on property values of the area or some negative effect on other infrastructure and things at this location, given that, again, sewer has been made available and there's no concern for capacity. In terms of site development, we can see their plan here. This is a preliminary design. Of course, there would be much more due diligence to be done to design further. Stormwater infrastructure would need to be further planned, and of course, this would have to go through, if this were approved and rezoned, would have to go through both the preliminary plat approval as well as a final plat approval, and all relevant department heads, fire department, water and sewer, public safety, or county engineering for the street design. So all elements of this would need to be gone through and approved by each department head for their respective field.
So Ethan, R3, with the plat, preliminary plat that's presented there, roughly 8 lots per acre, give or take, is that about right?
I would say so.
So each one of those lots there would average, I know some are larger than others, but, you know, it's around a .15 or so per lot, per home, give or take,
Typical R3.
a little. Is that,
Well, it's the smallest lot you can get in R3, best case scenario, is 7,500 square feet, which is, around a quarter of an acre or so.
more than what I thought, okay.
1/4 of an acre on that, and that's the smallest achievable lot.
You mentioned earlier at the beginning about 150 dwellings?
Yes, sir.
150 dwellings per,
That'd be max.
yeah, that would be the max on 61 acres. So that's, what, 2.5, 3, per acre? So, yeah, okay.
But they don't.
Say the quarter acre?
7,500 square feet.
0.75.
That's .17.
117 sounds right.
7,500 square feet?
Yeah, .17 acres.
Yeah.
0.17.
A little north of point
I think R2 is about a quarter.
That's right, on sewer. That's right. My apologies.
But of that 61 acres, to the west is all that watershed? That's
There is a small state waterway there to the west, and you can see there that they have accounted for a buffer. Of course, they would have to meet the state required buffer for those. And in my recommendation, you'll see at the end, I did recommend approval. But one condition to consider, if you'll notice the way that the property is laid out currently, and it's likely to be partially to topography as well as that stream over to the west. The lots on the east have a much deeper lot size than the lots over on the west side. The lots on the west are adjacent to those larger lots, single-family homes there to the south. And so, given a change in density that we're talking about, given the rural character of the area, the comprehensive plan, it might be worth considering recommending and requiring a buffer along the entire western boundary of the property, something at least to the tune of 20 feet, leaving the existing vegetation and things there to help create somewhat of a softer transition between the proposed development with a significantly higher density than what currently exists that's adjacent to the west, than being immediately adjacent to those other properties, which are larger lot and have a more rural character. So that'd be a way to help soften that transition. And again, this is a preliminary site design, so, in a perfect world, that could shift over to the east and account for that buffer and mitigate some of that change in density for those tracks. But the other buffer along the streamway there, of course, that'd be state required, and they've, of course, accounted for that, and that helps to soften that transition to those other houses to the east and those larger lots and larger houses to the east. So that would help to mitigate some of those concerns. No negative comments were given from the public school system. They are declining in student body and do not anticipate any issue with potential. Of course, it's hard to calculate how many children or students would result from this development at full build-out, but no negative concern was given in regard to this additional development or the impact that it would have on the nearby New Hope Elementary, given that Rauschenberg Road does have access out to the highway. So there was no concerns given there. Of course, the design, the street design and all would have to be again approved by the county engineer. So all the radii of the curves would all have to meet all current codes to ensure emergency vehicle accessibility, school bus accessibility, those type of things. With all that in consideration, that's the staff recommendation for approval and the consideration for a buffer along the western boundary of the property. I'll be happy to answer.
Considered proposing a traffic study?
Traffic study could certainly be a condition of the rezoning if there's a concern for the additional traffic.
I don't know how many houses he's proposing. It says 150 on here. Would that not be a key that would warrant a traffic study?
Well, the county engineer may very well require one of those as well. And based on the findings of that study, they may require A-cell, D-cell lanes and some improvements to be made for the ingress, egress.
Actually, that's one reason I asked that question, because I see on the attached plat, looks like he's got an A-cell, D-cell.
That's correct.
Drawing on there already. So is he anticipating a traffic study?
They may very well have conducted their own as due diligence. I'm sure the petitioner can address that. But they have done some due diligence to plan for already having those. They've also planned to align these entrances with the existing, which is a best practice when it comes to driveway and entrance.
Are they the same developers as the one across the street?
That is my understanding, sir, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did you, Ethan, talk with someone yourself with the school system?
I spoke with the superintendent, yes, sir.
Okay. Gene, how many lots are there on that north side of Rauschenberg? Do you know? Okay.
And how old it was? How old is this?
That other development?
Yeah,
They just started
Couple
building about a
years.
year ago,
Yeah.
I think.
okay. So it's not sold out yet? Okay, thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Ethan, we need to make sure we change that from Reed Road to Rauschenberg Road on that front,
Yes, sir, thank you.
just for the heck of it, yeah. Just be accurate.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
All right, SDH,
Matthew Shaler with Smith Douglas Homes. Our office is 110 Village Trail in Woodstock, Georgia. So we are the builder and developer across the street in our community, Varnell Preserves. This piece of property was always the intent to come across the street and keep our community going with the second phase. We have 136 home sites in the current phase. We've sold 28 homes to this point, so we're kind of just now getting going. We do propose a couple changes from that first phase to the second phase, one of which is probably something we're going to talk about plenty here, is the density. Our initial plan for this tract of land and under what R2 allows was 181 home sites. The plan that we're presenting today, we obviously knew density was going to be a conversation. The topography and the rock was a problem in our first phase, so we've landed on the proposal that is actually less density than we could actually pursue on this tract, which is the 150 home sites. Those home sites average on this plan to be 12,000 square feet. So 7,500 is what's allowable for R2. R3 is 15,000. We're kind of in the middle at this 12,000 number with bigger on the perimeter, smaller in the middle, and in that middle, the way the property lays is really what constricts us to have to be R2 to hit that minimum of those square footages. Traffic, obviously, another one we're going to talk about. We did align the entrances with the two existing entrances. We've prepared to do a traffic study. We wanted to get feedback from the Planning Commission here before doing that, just because it's an expensive study. But what we did do was go ahead and assume the worst-case scenario and draw in a decel lane for both entrances. And then, obviously, in the first phase, we put the turning lane for both of those entrances. So the way this has been designed is to go ahead and assume 4 entrances between the two communities, every one of them having a turn lane and a decel lane. So that would be what the worst-case scenario would be if a traffic study came back. So I did want to note that. We are assuming to be as least intrusive as possible with traffic. One other thing that I just heard was in regard to investors. I just wanted to say that we do not build for rent. We build and sell our homes. We try and sell an affordable, quality home that buyers can pre-buy and personalize. That's that's our business. We have had communities where buyers have bought some home sites as investors and they've rented them out. Out of our 28 sales in the first phase, that's happened one time. So we don't intend or see this, we can't restrict our buyers in that capacity, but we do not, in this current market, see any rental potential with this property, because I know that was kind of a concern. Other than that, we put in major sewer infrastructure for the first phase. The plan for that was to do the second phase and to use that infrastructure that we put in and that cost that we put in. And we're very proud of the first phase that we're building in, and we just want to continue that and continue to bring good homes to the area. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to talk on them.
What is your expected rate of takedown on the existing across the road, phase 1? You've got roughly 114 or 15 lots still available, right? How fast are you eating into that available inventory?
It's a good question. It's really tough to answer right now in our market. What we try to do is 3 or 4 a month. That's what we try to sell. That's where we're most efficient at our build pace.
So even if it was 5 a month and you just went nonstop at 5 a month, you're a couple years.
Mm-hmm. And with the topography, there's a substantial amount of development time on this property, and ideally to be developed in phases, just with this one, so.
I think by the time you have sewer and water, it will be more than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was talking about is the existing, the on the other side of the road.
Oh, no, well,
Yeah, I was just curious as to what rate the existing development is filling up, because he still has about 114 or 15 available lots in phase 1, which is already finished.
That's right.
The development's finished.
It's final
So
plat.
you've still got another 114 houses or so to go on the other side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was asking you, and so even best case is 2 to 3 years.
Yes, sir. Hopefully that'll pick up a little bit with the interest rates and how the market is. Also, in the first phase, we've learned some stuff that we would apply to this phase. The bigger lots where we can fit in our 1-level homes are selling much faster than our 2-level homes. There's portions of the phase that we're in now where we can only do the 2-level versus the 1-level, so it's kind of slowed down and sped up based on the lots that are available in that phase. So a couple factors that play into that.
The reason I ask that is because we see these requests, and often they're months apart, weeks apart, and we approve or deny. And if they're approved, they're out here hanging out in development space. I think they're all connected in some. I think we need to just keep in mind of what inventory is out there as we look at new requests. Just a comment. I think they're not standalone things. I think they're all related, particularly when they're in a geographic area that's very similar. I think you just got to take all of them into account. That's the reason I asked that question.
So did I understand you to say the absorption period is 3 years?
2 to 3.
2 to 3?
2 to 3. That would be best case scenario from what he said on the existing phase.
That seems kind of aggressive. How old is the first phase over there?
Just a year, right?
A year old?
Year and a half, something like
Yeah, we've sold 28 homes so far.
28?
Is there any other reason for the urgency on the south side to rezone it now?
No,
A year from now or 2 years from now?
we tried to rezone it when we did the first phase, actually, and do both. It's the same land seller, and at that time, I think I wasn't involved, but at that time, it sounded like everyone just wanted to focus on the first part. And then this has just been kind of sitting, waiting, part of our plan since then, so.
So it might be a couple of years before you can, quote, break ground.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. Like I said, our business is completely driven off of the sales pace, which is completely driven by the market. The market's been a little soft and up and down, so it's hard to say, but it wouldn't be coming too quick.
How long did it took you on the first phase to start after it was
To develop.
at least 2 years?
It wasn't that long. I don't have that
Maybe a year
with
and
me.
a
It was
half.
at least a year.
So a year, year and a half. So this is gonna be at least 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go back and ask you a question? You were talking about developing this property, and you said you platted it out with R2 and 180-plus properties in there? But you reduced the number of properties, but increased the density. I get a little confused there.
Oh, I'm sorry. We lowered the density.
I think he's got it backwards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I might have misspoke. We originally had a plan for 181 home sites. Instead, today, what we're presenting is 150 home sites. We're not going with the highest density of this property that we could propose. And part of that is what we're seeing in the first phase. The bigger lots are selling better. The bigger lots we can fit our one-level houses on, which we're seeing move down buyers to this area. That's part of it, and the topography of the site is part of it, and just the knowledge that we've seen with some pushback and the high-density developments being rezoned right now, so.
So Ethan mentioned potential additional buffer on one side. Does that challenge you, or is that something would be possible?
It could be possible. My only concerns to be able to commit to that or speak to that completely would be the amount of mass grading that we've got to do. Of course, if you're going to keep trees in an area, we cannot grade that. I can't remember in that lower west area how much topography we've got to go bench in a slope or not. And if that would be the case, it would restrict how much elevation, we can make up with the dirt work that needs to be done there. But I do think that would be a good idea to have a tree buffer. And of course, it's not uncommon for us to be able to need to go plant a tree buffer if we can't keep the existing.
Okay.
The 12,000 square foot average that we've got in this site plan is about that quarter acre number, though, that everyone was talking about, so.
Let me confirm one last thing. The current existing plan that's being built today, you said had 126?
136.
136, okay, and you've sold 28 of them. Okay, thank you.
Yep, we've got a model home there and a parking area and an agent on staff and little designs here, so, yep.
Okay, other questions?
Most of your lots would be the R2 side. Would you be willing to give up a few more houses and just make the whole thing R2?
I've asked our engineer that before this meeting, and the challenge is gonna be the lots in the middle. To be able to do that loop, allow for that roadway to be what it needs to be, the lots in the middle would get really pinched because we don't have the depth that the perimeter lots do. So, he said we could lose a substantial amount of lots just because of that. It's very easy to do on the perimeter, those are already there. It's just the middle would really shift things, and we'd probably have to run different houses for that area because of wide lots at that point.
So you're shooting for 12,000 square feet roughly per lot,
That's the average of this plan that we're
as
presenting.
opposed to R2 would be 15.
That's right, yep.
What you gotta understand, the buildable area on those, you may have a lot that's 12,000 or,
Yeah.
they're very long and narrow. Where the house is at and what you see from the road, they're all gonna look like they're much denser.
They're thick.
I mean, they're picking up some square footage to make that number a little more, but it's in the very back of a very skinny, narrow lot. It's really not usable. So you gotta just understand that it's still dense.
These lots are all 60-foot wide, by the way.
You have a topo already?
I'm sorry?
You have a topography?
Yes.
Okay, that give you a better idea. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
So the idea is to get as many lots as possible. Is that a fair statement?
I mean, that's,
Not necessarily, because we'd be presenting the 181 home plan that we had drawn up the first time. Because that would be as many as possible on this property. It had a bunch of cul-de-sacs and, you know, it really fit them in, so.
That's why you lowered it to 150 possible houses.
Yes, sir, for those couple of reasons, to get better lots in the market that we're in, to sell the single-level homes that we're looking to kind of pivot to in this area. And then the topography and the rock. We hit a lot of rock in that first phase. So the mass grading was going to be challenging, hitting that rock.
When you say the market we're in, whose market?
Just in general, I mean, it's for the Dalton area, it's for Whitfield County, but it's also just for the entire southeast. You know, our company as a whole is just feeling a pretty soft housing market right now, so pretty slow.
Yeah, I feel like Whitfield County's got plenty of those type development and lots. But anyway, we'll, thank you.
I agree with it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody would like to speak in favor? All right, anybody would like to speak in opposition? All right, I see two. Lady in the back was first, and you're second, okay?
You're pointing at me, sorry.
That's no problem. Now, we're going to run a clock here.
Okay, I'm prepared for you. Good evening, Verna Kimsey, Durham Street, Dalton. Verna Kimsey, Durham Street, Dalton. This proposal represents a major change from the existing low density and rural character of the surrounding area. Many residents choose to live here because of the open space, lower traffic, and quieter lifestyle. Medium density development on this scale is not compatible with the area as it exists today. I'm especially concerned about the road safety and infrastructure. The roads serving this area are already hazardous due to the limited visibility from trees, narrow roadways, and speeding traffic. A lot of people speed through there. Adding a large number of vehicles would significantly increase the risk of accidents for residents, school buses, and emergency responders. These are also serious concerns about schools and taxes. I know the school system said that they would be okay with that, but we're footing the bill. Our property taxes are already higher due to the school taxes, and this is a hardship for many families, seniors, and residents on fixed incomes. Approving a development of this size would rather strain the school system and could result in even higher taxes because apparently they can't stay within budget. They keep asking us for more money. Sorry, still sore spot on that. In addition, there are several other builders already planning or proposing developments in this area, huge developments. The cumulative impact of multiple developments is being ignored. Allowing all of these grow at once is unreasonable and frankly out of scale with what our roads, schools, and services can handle. Large-scale developments also raise environmental and drainage concerns, including stormwater runoff and flooding. The land currently provides natural drainage and green space that helps protect the properties nearby. And finally, approving this rezoning would set a precedent for future medium-density development in areas that are not suited for this, and leading to growth that is unplanned and excessive. I respectfully ask that you deny this rezoning request. And one thing that is true to my heart here, I have a couple minutes. When we bought our home, we were promised that it was good quality home. We moved in, we've had nothing but trouble. There's water in my basement. Of course, the builder pretty much washed their hands off of it. My home right now, my taxes are outrageous, and I'm having to appeal because there's so much work to do. What they're saying my home is worth is not. So that does not help. So I would like to kind of point to the quality of the homes. I know that they're trying to build them in a hurry, but from what I've seen in my experience, a lot of the builders, do not have the ethical fortitude to really be honest in how they build their homes and who they contract to build the homes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir?
Hi, my name's Gerald Clark. If you look at the green stripe up there and follow that creek down, I am the,
Hang on,
Let her
Jane.
reset that clock.
oh, I'm sorry. How long do I have? That's not enough.
There you go. Go ahead.
Gerald Clark, the green stripe there that shows where Poplar Springs Creek runs south and goes into Hague Mill Lake is one of the city, county water sources. I'm the only house that's on the east side of that creek. And so all the flooding that comes down there, I see it, and sometimes I have to park my car on the other side. And I've spent $50,000 just a couple of years ago trying to dredge all that silt that comes down that creek. And so seeing that, and that row of homes there, I have walked that a zillion times. I had a heart attack 12 years ago. Doctor said, get out there and walk, get out there. I have walked up and down that, what used to be tree growth on both sides. If you look across the road at development that the gentleman just referred to, they cut down every tree. And so what's coming down now is mud. I mean, it's not on a flat area, it's up on a hill, so the water washes down the hill, goes straight down in front of my house, and I can see the brown coming down, and it's going to impact it's going to impact the roads. The gentleman was incorrect to say Reed Road and Rauschenberg have no issues. I drove up there today because I wanted to see how far it was, the 2-mile stretch that's going to impact downstream. I'm talking about water. I had to sit and wait at Rauschenberg Road to get down to Reed Road because of the schools there. And so the kids are out walking around, running around, it's going to put a danger to them. And based on what I've seen of that development across the road with all the trees down and that mud just flowing downstream, there is no way that that can be sustained with the life that we have today. I'm not opposed to building they probably should be 2 or 3 acre estate kind of yards just to minimize the amount, and that will still bring the same tax revenue in that a packed subdivision development like this has, but will be a far less impact on the quality of life of those. And the lady said it so well that preceded me that there's just no way that this can be sustained. And I say that, my wife and I, we ran a IT company for 20 years. We were bringing people from India. We had office in Connecticut. We had office in Minnesota. Had office in Chattanooga. So I'm not just a Georgia-born person that has, but I became one because that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to live in this spot and have the land that we have the water that we have. This is like an awesome place to live. And I plan to come here and I plan to pass away here. I'm not going anywhere, but this is like a nightmare to me and my wife to see this kind of development going on that should be in downtown Atlanta or somewhere. It doesn't belong here. It's just a huge mistake.
All right.
I think I said everything I can say.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Guess you're next, huh?
Good evening. My name's Carrie Dellinger, and I live at 155 Revere Run, which is around the corner from this area right off of Reed Road. I'm in opposition and would like to request that no rezoning be allowed until a traffic study is done. What has not been mentioned is that there's actually 3 schools in this area, not just the elementary school. The middle school's right next door, and the high school takes the end of Reed Road and Highway 201. And the traffic is a considerable issue during school arrival and dismissal times particularly in the dark in the mornings. There's been multiple accidents at Rauschenberg and Reed. You've got high school drivers in the area. And at this point, we really have not fully realized the impact of the 136 homes in Varnell Preserve because they only have 28 of those homes done. They also built a home, another development that's dense population housing across from the middle school, which is called Hopewell Manor. So this would be the third dense population housing in this area. And it just is too much, too many people, too many cars in this concentrated area. Rauschenberg Road is hilly, it is curvy, it's not a highway like Highway 201 or Highway 2. And it just cannot sustain that amount of traffic. I would like to see that either it be denied or possibly an R2, which is more, my current subdivision is R2, Vineyard subdivision, which is behind us, is R2. I believe a lot of the R5s that are on the plat are probably homes that have mobile homes. They're not, anything that has any additional dense population. So it just is, I'm very concerned about the traffic and the safety. Yes, we have room in the schools, but that one school where people brought those homes for their children to go to the New Hope schools and to go to Northwest, they could get rezoned out of that zone where they bought, specifically because they wanted their children to graduate from Northwest High School. So that's also a consideration. We do have openings and we're not full in all of our elementary school, but once the New Hope schools fill up, they have to redraw lines and move kids. And so that's obviously a concern. I feel like this development would impact the quality of life of those of us that live there. And so for those reasons, I would ask for you not to approve the R3 designation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we're going to hear from what we're hearing here is traffic, runoff, just density. Anybody else like to speak up? Got something new?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more proof. I got a little proof.
Oh,
Can I hand y'all these?
You can?
Okay. Well, of course, right there's the spill of the stuff y'all already.
Oh, that's a lot.
On top. Thank you. I guess it's more of a grievance I have, because I contacted the Forestry Commission because of that.
Go ahead and
because of that-
tell us your name and address.
They said they were gonna leave. Those trees have already been removed. As far as the sediment and all coming down the creek, you know the highlighted part right here? If one of y'all could read that out loud?
You Go ahead and read it.
Okay. It says here, and I quote, "The source of the sediment stems from the 50.63 acre parcel to the north of the 61 acre parcel." Now, to me, that's the one that you're currently developing, correct? And y'all said y'all had a good start on it and only 28 homes so far. That means there's a lot more to come.
Okay.
There's a lot more. As the findings, I included a bunch of pictures in the back. That's where the water reserves have failed. These two right here are the two colors of the creek. The one that's brown comes from the subdivision. The other one's crystal clear, so that way you don't think it's just a rainy day. This is the sediments, this is part of the sediments that come down the creek. Now, this is without residents there. This is without people dumping their motor oil in, throwing batteries in, throwing their dead dogs in, or whatever happens in a highly dense subdivision. And this is currently, when it does rain, the sediments that have came down that floods mine and Betty's property and Gerald's property. It's already happening. So I am in oppose of this rezoning.
Okay, so your information here basically is showing us the sediment.
Yes, yes.
Now, that's from the development across Rauschenberg?
Yeah. If you look right there on the very bottom of that map, I'm the neighbor right there on the very bottom. I do not have a house on that land. I'm not really a tree hugger, but I bought that just for the land to have fun on.
Okay.
And all that is, it floods out very bad. And
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. think we're gonna, that pretty much says the same thing, but with proof. Thank you. I think we're gonna close this unless somebody has something very specific they want to say that has not been said.
I got something specific.
That has not been said.
Yes, sir. My name is Greg Bates. I live on Langley Drive, which is about 2 miles over the hill from this proposed development. So, excuse me, in speaking to one of the local realtors, we currently have about 331 homes listed for sale in Whitfield County.
Excuse me, Gene?
Oh.
Go ahead, sorry.
We currently have about 331 homes listed for sale through realtors in Whitfield County. When doing a little research, it looks like we have about 120 for sale by owner. And so we're starting to see a large increase in homes for sale here. And so there's just a lot of development happening in that area, not just the one across the road with the cricket field. And there's some other stuff that's happening that's just not being really seen yet, I don't think, and taken into account when we just look at one development here. But the part I want to talk to about different is our sheriff's department this year, and talking to our sheriff, he requested 4 new positions to be funded because of the staffing issues. And they're, I think, fully staffed. He's looking at 4 additional to what they already have to help cover the amount of calls. Our Firefighters Association talked about being shorthanded at the fire department. And our fire chief actually did an interview on TV talking about the challenges of hiring firefighters to get our fire departments at the staffs or at the staffing levels that they need to be. And in that same interview, he talked about in the past 5 years we've increased fire department budget by $5 million, and that's going to salaries and incentives. And so we're increasing our fire budget would break down to $1 million a year when we're not even fully staffed. And so, we're talking about infrastructure with the roads and stuff, and we are dumping a ton of traffic in there on the schools. But part of our infrastructure is going to be our public safety. And if we already are strained to meet our public safety needs, or we're out almost at our max to meet our public safety needs, we're adding a huge development here with a bunch of homes that's going to put just a further strain on those things. And so as those strains come and we're adding people, that's just going to increase our tax spending. And I think everybody knows the tax increases that we've seen this year based on the county and the school system. And so at some point, we've got to slow this stuff down and let the residents of the county catch up to what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to make one comment, just from a little homework that I did over the week. You've got from existing subdivisions, of which over 90% of those are in this general area.
Chris, could you put the microphone a little?
Sorry. So you've got, of which over 90% of these existing subdivisions are in this general area. You've got north of 500 that have already been approved by planning, also been approved by the commission, and are in, like the gentleman's first phase. They're there, but you've got lots that have not been built on yet. Got a little over 500 there, and then you've got another 200 and some change that have passed zoning and are in plat approval process. So within the next couple of months, you're probably going to have about 700 or so lots that are available to be built on. That's what Mr. Bates said about homes for sale and all of those. Those are existing homes. These are potentially new builds. There'll be a little over 700, just for what that's worth. Thought I'd share that.
And you're saying 90% of those?
The only ones that are not in this general area is what's left down here in Ryman Farm. The rest of it is all in that general Varnell, Rauschenberg, Northwest, that area. You've got a potential, once these couple that are approved, just waiting final plat approval, you've got over 700 potential lots that have not been built on yet, just for what that's worth.
One thing that just real quickly, we talk about taxes, And I'm assuming that if you put these 150 houses or whatever you're going to put in out there, there's going to be a tax revenue from that to help support the additional needs of the community, right?
They will all be collecting property taxes.
Yes. So, I mean, so there is it is not like everybody out there is going to have a huge increase and these people won't have any property taxes, right?
Correct.
They'll have property taxes.
Same as
Okay.
you, yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure I understood that point.
I just
No
want-
abatement of taxes or anything like that.
I just want to make a comment that probably the growth of Whitfield County is coming to the northwest area. And the reason for that is that the south end of the county, I believe we have a subdivision that we approved 6 months ago or 8 months ago, that I was going to bring some of that area, residential area, to the south, and then the county commissioners turned it down. So it is, you probably need to think of the south end of the county a little bit better.
Say that again, I don't understand.
It's very simple. You, if you need a translation?
A little louder.
Okay. Unfortunately, for the northwest area of the county, that's where the most people wanted to live presently. And the reason for that is also that when the subdivision was planned for the south end of the county, and we approved it, the county commissioners turned it down. So we probably need to think more about the south end of the county and be more open to new developments as well.
What development was that?
It
Where
didn't
the
have-
guy threatened that he was gonna do
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah, it didn't have two entrances. It wasn't very well planned out.
Right, I mean, it was on a
Only had one entrance, though.
pig trail road.
Some help will be needed there if the road was built.
So you think the county should have paid to have that road widened? for
Not
the-
necessarily, because it was another entrance to the property, and probably another one, an exit could have been run.
You see did you go down there and see the?
Yes.
The
Yes, I did,
narrow road?
on one side,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was
All
a lot of road frontage on the
All
property.
right, that's, I think that's history there. We can look at that in the future. Right now, we're talking about this one, and I think growth begats growth. That's why everything is moving north. I'll take one more, if you got something specifically different than what we've already heard. Otherwise, she's trying to raise her hand, but it only goes up part way.
Hey, I'm Betty Watts. I live on Reed Road, and I've lived there since 1985. And I don't know why they want to come in and build houses and take our properties. And the deer does not have nowhere to go because the backfield has got our entire deer section. And they're killing them anyway when they go shooting deer. But they need a home to go to. They don't need they don't have no place to eat or nothing. And I think they need to, and plus, last week, they were drones at my house at night, coming around shining pictures, taking pictures around the property that they're talking about building houses on. And I don't appreciate them having them around my house. And I tell you right now, it's just not worth it. So they need to bring their heart and think about their heart, what they're going through, and what all these little animals are going through.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Would you like to rebut any of these points?
I don't know if I have much of a rebuttal. I can promise that we didn't find any drones over people's houses or anything like that. But just from what I've heard, the beautiful area, the nice place to live, the great school system, that's why we want to build homes there that are affordable and good quality to the people that want to live there. Because I do nothing but agree with those comments. So thank you.
What kind of price range are y'all running these houses?
High twos, low threes. Yep, so we try to hit the affordable price range for for the need that's there right now.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Without further ado, we're going to close the public portion on this request and move on. That next one here is from Dalton Whitfield Solid Waste Management Authority, seeking to rezone GA, SA to GA for a special use request. The Management Authority, are you here? Do we need that? Okay. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This one is a little complicated to see at first up there. It is currently zoned general agriculture and suburban agriculture. The request is to rezone the entire combined subject property to general agriculture and with a special use permit for the landfill. And when we see the zoning map here, obviously the general agriculture zone district is the most dominant zone district. We do not identify any issue with rezoning the portion of the property from SA to GA. Of course, at first glance, looking at a landfill and a landfill expansion certainly does draw attention. But in the application that the petitioner filled out, and I'm sure that the Solid Waste Management Authority can address this in greater detail. Their plans for the subject property are simply to use it as a buffer around the existing landfill, not necessarily to open up a cell for trash storage or anything like that. This would be part of their overall site design, and they would like to have their entire contiguous property within the same zoning and within the conforming status of the conditional use permit or special use permit that would be associated with the landfill. So that's the basic understanding. That's the change it would make to the zoning map here. From a development standpoint, you can see the area. I believe in your staff analyses, I tried to sort of illustrate the adjacent properties owned by the Management Authority, of which you can see that over 90% of the properties that would be adjacent to the subject property are within ownership of the Solid Waste Management Authority. Here we see Rural Agricultural Reserve, again, based on the existing landfill and based on the intent to use this property as part of a buffer. We do not anticipate any negative impact to the area. This would again help to further maintain the buffer of the landfill to other adjacent properties. Overall, the recommendation is to approve, citing no issues or discrepancies. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
If I understand you, the darker green here is what they're going to use for buffer?
The subject property outlined in bold, the site, that would be the 3 lots that they propose to use as part of their buffer.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Management?
I'm Dirk Verhoef, Executive Director, Dalton Whitfield Solid Waste Authority. We own most of the land to the north of Yazaway. These 3 parcels became available to us, and so we pursued them to just kind of wrap up the property that we own around the perimeter of the existing landfill. And because of the zoning requirements, we had to request this rezone.
Okay. You own that property just to the east there between that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where's that? West, sorry.
West.
To the east and the west.
You have both
And
those.
the north, and the northeast.
Okay.
East, west, and north.
Yeah.
All right, questions? No? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? And we shall close the public portion on that request. The next one is to hear from Rodelio Paniagua. Are you here? Yes. Okay. Seeking to rezone from parcel R6, R2 to R5, C2. This is 2.1 acres and 3 acres located along the south right-of-way of Hill Road. Ethan?
Thank you,
This is in the county, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we have here is this request with two tracts consisting of the subject property. The subject property, as you can see, is currently zoned R2 and R6. You'll note that the portion of the property that is zoned R6 in blue is being proposed to be rezoned C2 in order to be combined with the property adjacent to the west, fronting the south bypass that the petitioner currently owns. So this would be to combine an adjacent property for commercial use on that portion of the subject property. The green portion, the R2 portion of the subject property, is being proposed or requested to be rezoned from R2 to R6, transitional residential. The proposal for the subject property, I mentioned the C2 portion of it would be combined with an existing adjacent property already in ownership of the petitioner. The R6 portion of the property would be a continuation, if you can sort of see on the map, the radius of the existing R6 properties, Front Hill Road. This would allow those to be extended in the adjacent development of R6. We see R6 in this area, many lots already in plans for development. This would allow a slight increase to the intersection for some additional lots, again, as part of the contiguous to the existing development. The only other R2 property adjacent to the subject property would be across the street and to the north. The subject property is adjacent to both the R6, C2, and R5 zone districts. So what the proposed zoning would essentially introduce to the area, any potential changes would slightly enlarge the general commercial zone district, and it would slightly enlarge the R6 zone district at this location in order to both be associated with existing adjacent commercial and residential properties. The commercial property is undeveloped. Any future development of the commercial portion of the subject property would be required currently and any point in the future to provide for a buffer along its entire boundary anywhere it's adjacent to residential, so essentially entirely along the northern portion of this property. And that's if it were to be developed in the future as commercial. With that being said, we see the zoning. Here is the development of the area currently. And it's within the emerging suburban character area within the comprehensive plan. This area, again, accounts for portions of the county that can accommodate additional residential development based on existing infrastructure that could support additional development, as well as the existing development patterns, so infill development, which we would see here. And the adjacent commercial development is not necessarily always a first pick for the emerging suburban character area, but given the fact of the south bypass and the small island of commercial development on multiple properties, we see an existing character for commercial and do not anticipate any real change to the character of the area if this rezoning is approved. And again, based on the fact that any future development would be subject to all guidelines, including a buffer adjacent to any residential property. Staff recommendation is to approve. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
No? Thank you,
Quick,
Ethan.
quick question, Ethan.
Oh, yep, sorry.
I apologize. I'm reading this thing that says, I've got containing a total of 2.1 acres and 3 acres. Explain that one to me, please, in the third line down.
Yes, sir. So the subject property is made up of 2 lots that you can see there. So one of those would be 2.1 acres. The smaller lot, larger tract would be 3 acres.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. So there's 2 individual, one's 2.1, one's 3.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Here's a good illustration of the petitioner's proposal.
The word total there threw me off.
Sorry.
It's all right. Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
And the ones in white would be part of this rezone as well?
No, sir. The only portion that we are under consideration for rezoning will be the area highlighted in yellow. So the white lots are already permitted in R6. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Paniagua?
Yes, my name's Rogelio Paniagua, 105 Arthur Street in Dalton. Pretty much, I mean, I just need to get it rezoned, if I can. He pretty much explained, what I need.
What do you plan to do with the C2, the commercial portion?
I'll just keep it. I mean, right now, just, get it rezoned and, hopefully in the future, you'll be able to do something with it.
It does not have access anywhere close to the bypass or any
Well,
perimeter road there?
if I combined it, I've got, access, to the bypass, but there's a little road, right at the end of the lots on the right side. I forget exactly what the name of the road is, but it's got access
Okay.
to it.
Is that your development just above there that he was talking about? The existing?
The one in the white?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I bought the whole thing. The only thing is that the whole thing was supposed to be like R6, but then I found out that that little portion on the corner is R2, and so we got to go through the procedure to try to get it rezoned.
Questions?
And what does R6 do for you? What does R6 do for you? Is that on the lots,
Duplexes, or what are you gonna do with R6?
I'm debating. I mean, it allows for duplexes and single family, so I'm probably going to be mixing it up.
It also allows for triplexes and fourplexes, but you're thinking duplexes?
Just duplexes is the most that I'm thinking about doing.
that's on these 4 lots right here? 4?
Yellow?
No.
Yeah. Four yellow ones.
On all of them.
The white, the ones that are in white also,
Yes.
that are currently R2, is that correct?
That's not part of it.
No, but I'm,
Well, but the-
right, it's already, the white ones,
Those are already zoned R6.
You're not,
they're already R6.
you're not showing any stormwater ponds or anything. Where's all this water going?
Well, I mean, we're working on that right now with, actually Jake was supposed to be here today, but he got strep throat. He's the Jake Bearden. He did the site plan for me, and he's got all of that already in the works.
This bottom
Offer
piece right here
and
is what you're
everything.
proposed to be commercial, this bottom
Triangle.
Yes, sir.
that's gonna be commercial. There's nothing on it right now?
Nothing on it, and just combining it with a piece of land that's already commercial on the right side to that, and it butts up to the bypass.
Oh, okay.
Gene, what is allowable in R6?
Hey, Gene, can you put up the zoning map again? Okay, that one there. So you're saying you own the red property just to the right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's your access.
Yes.
And the other property to the south, or not the, yes, the south below it? Do you own that?
No, I
Well,
mean,
where-
it would be the,
Just the one up to the right?
yeah,
I mean, you own this one,
yes, sir, I own that one.
but you don't own that one?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you just own that one?
Yes,
Okay. But that gives you road access, is what you were saying?
yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Makes more sense on the commercial.
What is that one to the south? Is that on the commercial part to the south? You know what's on it?
That's a residential house right there.
On Piney Ridge?
Yeah.
Right there on the corner.
R5.
Yeah, it looks like houses.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, questions?
This Hill Road, you're gonna try to get, plans to get the driveways individually from Hill Road. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's correct.
In this plan, like you said, it's not showing where your storm water retention pond or anything like that.
Not, I mean, not this one. I don't know, I mean, I submitted all of that already.
So if the engineer requires that, you would have to put a pond in.
We're actually going to put a pond in. Yeah, originally, we were, I was wanting to save the lots and just do the, the individual, the water management per lot. But it was gonna be too much land, that I needed to move, so I just, told Jake, to redo the plans, and now, it's gonna take up about 3 lots, to put the pond in there.
But you understand that the county engineer what they will require, if they require it.
Yes, I mean, that's, whatever is required is what's required.
So this is just preliminary.
Yes, sir.
All right, questions?
No.
Steve? Gentlemen? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody who'd like to speak in opposition? Ma'am?
My name is Betty Bates. I live on 1,000 Old Hill Road, as known as 1,000 Hill Road, Dalton, Georgia, 30721. This has been myself and my husband's residence for 52 years. Rezoning of R2 to R6, we are opposing rezoning R2, R6 due to the plans that are to subdivide lots to complete plans of Hill Road subdivision, which will consist of 36 multi-family homes that will be 18 duplexes, with each having their own individual driveway. Stormwater plans for all of this stormwater from the houses and driveway is to drain into a personal drainage pipe that has been installed by us through our property. In the 70s, our property was considered floodland, and we have never had adequate stormwater drainage. Our house was built in a bank that was graded out, which runs north and south on the property line where the subdivision will end. We are very concerned about land disturbance. The request for C2 general commercial rezoning will be connecting to commercial land that is owned by requester, which is inadequate for building, for it has been filled in way above the natural land lines. The rezoning property is a lower land line, which would require a lot of land disturbance to level the land. The commercial property runs east and west alongside my property line, which leads more concern to land disturbance and stormwater drainage on that side of the property. The total rezoning request starts and will connect to subdivision in a very high traffic road already being located between Antioch Elementary School, the school bus barn, and Eastbrook Middle School entrance. The actual rezoning request is at the Hill Road / Ridge Road, South Bypass Access Road, where if you are traveling to the bypass from Eastbrook Middle School, you would have to make about 180-degree turn left onto Piney Ridge Road. If you are coming from the bypass to go to Eastbrook Middle School, you would have to make the same degree turn going right onto where you would have 18 additional driveways and school traffic at Eastbrook Middle School that is usually backed up from the four-way stop at Wagner and Eastbrook Cutoff. There is also a carpet mill built across from Eastbrook Middle School entrance. This area is way overpopulated with continuous traffic and people carrying precious cargo, talking about children. And this project is only going to make it worse. I would also like to add that the commercial property at the top that we say is inadequate, it has been filled with concrete, steel, metal, and there's even vehicles buried under that hill. And that is where he's talking about using a road to come out on. And that would be at the top of the dead-end road where, coming above my house. When that road was built through there, it was slanted at the wrong angle, and we lived there for years when it was just hill road with people, when it rains, running off in a big hole in front of my house that is big enough to set my house down in, because Hill Road was built up, if you can remember, back in the days when, before the bypass was built. So I thank you for your time and attention, and I appreciate it, and I hope that some of this information that I'm bringing forward, you'll take to heart and in consideration to rezoning this property. I think we've developed, that property has already been developed one time by the hill being cut in two to make the south bypass access road. Now they want to develop on top of that. So we're doing so much development in that little, I call it Bugs Bunny living in the city hole, that we're suffocating ourselves. We can't move. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, does anybody else like to speak in opposition? All right, would you like to rebut, sir? Mr. Paniagua, anything she said?
No, sir. I mean, I bought the property. I really don't know exactly, what the condition of the, the commercial land is. But I don't plan on doing anything with it right now. If I ever do anything with it, of course, I'm gonna have to get permits and I'm gonna have to get the studies or whatever needs to happen. And at that point, I mean, if the land is suitable, to build on the way it is, then I'll be able to build on it. If not, then, whatever is recommended, I mean, I'll deal with it at that point.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Could I say one more thing after he said that?
You need to come up.
He was saying he would have to get permission. Well, it's gone. All of these duplexes and driveways and everything has already went through every bit of improvement with the information I told you right here. That drainage that they have on the stormwater, I got to see the stormwater plan. And that drainage is running through private drainage, and it does not belong to the county. And I think that things being signed off on repetitious, if one signs it, the other one signs it, the other one signs it, the other one signs it, it's hard to keep the computers up to date and correct as fast as development is happening. And there's a lot of errors in this area that they're talking about.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you tell me real quickly, where on this map is your house?
You see,
Is it up on this section or down here?
this three little lines
Where it says Old Hill Road?
right there.
Yeah, right
Old
down a
Hill
bit,
Road,
down a bit.
right there,
To the
where the
left?
first, over to the left. The
Yeah, right
one,
there.
two, three in a row.
You're on
Okay,
the-
so that's your
We
property.
bought the home, and then the Stanleys, before the bypass was built,
Okay.
sold land, and we bought a plot that was split.
I got you.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. With that said, we are going to close the public portion on that request and moving on. To Rosa Lopez, are you here?
I'm her representative.
Okay. Seeking to rezone from R5 to R7, tract of land 1.45 acres located on Sheridan Road, and that is still in the county. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is an area where city-county boundaries vary. This is still within the unincorporated county. The request to rezone would be from R5 rural residential to R7 high-density residential. The proposal would, of course, change the zoning of the subject property as it currently stands. We do see to the north the R7 zone district as an adjacent, an existing, and established zone district on multiple parcels along this street and this community. We also see the R3 zone district to the north, and again, the R5 zone district is very common in this area. R5, just as a refresher, allows manufactured homes, duplex dwellings, and single-family detached dwellings. Here we can see the development of the area. Obviously, East Walden Avenue, slightly to the north, heavily developed for commercial and some industrial use, mostly residential pocket neighborhoods around the subject property. Existing development of the subject property, we have a manufactured home on the subject property, 2 single-family dwellings in addition to that, of course, in non-conforming status. The R5 zone district only allows for a single structure to be built per lot. While that can be a duplex, it can be 2 units per lot, but only 1 structure per lot. So, of course, having 3 single-family dwellings on a single tract of land would be in non-conforming status. The proposal that the petitioner is showing us would be to develop these 5 additional duplexes to the subject property. These would be new constructed duplexes, as well as leaving the existing single-family home near the street. And this would add an additional 5 duplexes to the property, all accessed with a private drive with 2 points of ingress, egress, and the associated parking that would go along with this development. Of course, this would be held to all standards in regard to parking, as well as construction and road accessibility at the street level. That would be the maximum achievable density, obviously, that the developer could propose, and of course, this would have to do further due diligence in order to determine the full feasibility and approval of what is being proposed. R7 does allow multiple structures per lot, and it's all based on unit per acre density, which is would fall in with what the petitioner is proposing at this location. Of course, sewer would have to be there to require or to allow this, and this is an area that is well served by sewer. And we do see some adjacent or some nearby apartments you can see there slightly to the northwest, already in the R7 zone district. So we do anticipate the ability for public services to be able to serve these without strain. And if we look at the comprehensive plan, we see it's within the town neighborhood revitalization character area. And of course, the net impact of this would be to increase some additional housing in the form of duplexes on the subject property, and demolish some existing aging structures, and of course, a manufactured home that's on the subject property, all aging structures to be replaced by new dwellings that, of course, again, would have to be in compliance with all current county codes, building codes, and development codes. So this would be an investment into this neighborhood that would not be dissimilar from the existing zoning and development, and we believe that would be in alignment with the intent of the town neighborhood revitalization character area. So the overall recommendation from staff is that the proposed rezoning can be approved. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So, go ahead.
That driveway, the existing driveway, improve as necessary. Would that alleviate the traffic, so it would be one entrance and one exit?
They have proposed a secondary. Of course, that would have to be approved by the county engineer.
So how many units would this be? How many
There'll
users?
be 10 additional units, so the overall net density of this property with 5 duplexes, that would be 10 new units. And the existing single-family dwelling that they propose to maintain would be 11 units total.
And it's currently 3?
Currently 3, yes, sir.
Okay.
Questions? Very good. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Ms. Paniagua?
So Mr. Lopez and Ms. Lopez, they approached me, and they were just wanting to know if they could do anything with that land that they already had. They've had it for a while, and so when they bought it, the 3 buildings were already there. So we started, doing some investigation as to what we could do to try to get them. They got a little bit of money, and really what it boils down to is they're not really sure, what's going to happen, once they get to retirement age, and they're wanting to invest their money, and they're wanting to start, by building a duplex there. But in order to do that, they're wanting to see, what happens, and try to have the possibility of building some more, right there if it goes well, with them. So that's the reason for the request, to R7.
Okay. Questions? Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Lady on the left, the middle, rather.
My name is Leila Wilson, 620 Sheridan Avenue, which is directly behind this property that is in question. I mean, our properties butt up together, and my driveway runs to the left side of this property. We've had issues with these homeowners over their septic system all summer long, and they finally, since early spring, just now put in a septic. There's a house and a trailer. They just removed a double wide, which would have been 3. It's high traffic. We have East Side, Antioch, Eastbrook, Southeast, and then the city schools, high school, middle, elementary. All those buses come into the area. We have surrounding carpet mills. You sit at the red light at the skating rink, you can smell the sewer from Dalton Utilities because of the new duplexes, the big subdivision they have put in. The road is not very wide. It's an older road. In '94, they had the 3 homes there and asked to place a 4th one and was told they did not have the property to do a 4th home, to move a 3rd trailer in. So I don't understand what would change now. And we have the like I said, the runoff from their property onto ours.
Well, it's served by sewer, is that not right, Ethan? So why they would have a septic problem is, should be fixed.
It has been bad this summer with the septic.
Okay, but if they developed it, it would be on sewer and not septic.
And what about our driveway? You said that they would have separate driveway, but they're already connected into ours now. And it's a small gravel driveway, single lane. We do the upkeep on it.
So which?
Gene?
Right here?
Clock?
It's on the left side of their plot and connects into Walnut Avenue.
Oh, you've connected to Walnut.
No, Sheridan, I'm sorry. And the mobile home that sits on the property and the house comes out into our driveway.
You'll get a chance to rebut in just a minute.
Oh, that's my husband. They have the roadfront property and we're directly behind them. So if you come down to the bottom of all the way down to we're in that area right behind them.
You were on a dead-end road right there? At the
It
end?
dead ends into my house. It's just a driveway.
I got you, yeah. Yeah, they won't,
Are you on Dalton Utilities, or do you have a septic tank?
I have a septic. I'm too far off from the road. I'm 800 feet back.
Are they possibly on septic now,
Too
but
far?
are gonna convert
They
to
are
sewer?
on septic.
They're on septic right now, but they could convert to sewer.
They can
potentially.
convert.
they
And
will.
it was our understanding they were converting to that. They had a pump out there and it took them all summer long just to
Okay,
take care of the issue.
well, they should be, with this amount of development, they will be on sewer, not on septic.
This particular one.
And then, like I said, there's a high amount of traffic for Sheridan Avenue itself.
It takes some curves.
The duplexes that have already been built, they're sitting there, some of them are empty, got for rent signs up on them.
Cross the street? Cross,
There's a set across the street and a set on the same side of the street.
okay.
One set is beside the government house and the other is directly across from it. And
Right.
they currently have for rent signs up. So we've got all that development, all that traffic, empty places to rent,
We've heard that tonight.
so.
Yeah, we've already heard that tonight. Okay, so,
That's our concern. We're opposed. We really are.
all right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll take one more.
Jim, just hit the clock on this one.
Yeah.
I'm Carly Kelly. I'm 612 Sheridan Avenue. That's my big purple square there. So we do already have a lot of traffic, and there have already been a lot of developments, the duplexes, the apartments, all of that around through there. So from all of my family growing up, we all went to Antioch Elementary School. We are less than a mile from that school, and my children have already been rezoned just because of all of the developments. So we've had to go to East Side School now, so that's a big deal for us. The amount of traffic on that road, the line between the city and the county is right on the yellow line right in front of my house. So everything across the street is city school, so there are the city school buses that run, all day. And then the county schools at different times as well, so there's a lot of kids. So that's a big effect there. A little further down Sheridan, I guess it turns into Kugler. There's already a big home development there. There's already so much traffic that comes from that one. People just speeding down through there. Last year, a fella did actually run off the road and hit a tree in my yard and killed himself. People just fly down through there, sitting at traffic, right there at that red light, right there beside the Toyota place. There's at least 5 or 6 accidents a week. I hear ambulances and sirens go to that red light all hours, day and night. It is dangerous. And as far as even sitting there at the red light, the sewer system we were talking about that does support the city, you can smell it all the way back up to our house. And I have septic, but I can still smell it inside my house coming through from the city water. And I don't know, I'm opposed. There's already just been too many developments around there that are sitting empty, and it's just causing a bit much havoc for, like they said, older dwellings that have been there forever. That house has been in my family since 1937, and I hate to see that community change the way it has already. And, property taxes have went up quite a bit this year, so, and that's also looking like asking for part of our property for an easement for the driveway for that. I just can't support a 10 family property right there at the edge of my driveway. I just,
Very good.
I'm
Thank you,
opposed.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Maniagua?
I don't know if it matters or not, but the First Lady was talking about like having access to her house. The thing is that on the left side of the drawing right there, there's an easement that's actually, I'm pretty sure it's part of the property of my customer. But he goes, on the left side, he goes all the way to the back. So that's, that's how she has access, to her property. And, I mean, the other thing is just that, if approved and we go through with this, I mean, there's sewer, so the sewer problem right there in the yard is not gonna be a problem.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
That is an easement. They've not mowed the yard this summer. They finally was able to get somebody out there to weed eat the yard after it got up past their field. And the health department came out and said something to them about the septic tank and the sewage.
Okay, again, this, yeah. That easement needs to be looked at. All right, we're going to close the public portion on this request. Next one is Ricardo Palomo. Ricardo? Okay, thank you. Seeking rezone from R2 to R5, parcel containing 1.5 acres at 475 Dawnville Road, in order to construct a duplex. This one is in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request to go from R2 to R5. Currently, again, just to restate, single-family detached residential only allows single-family detached dwellings, one per tract of land. Current state of the subject property is in conforming status with one single-family dwelling. Across the street, we do see the R5 zone district, but the R5 zone district does allow for duplex dwellings. But when we take a look at the existing development surrounding the subject property, we don't see an existing duplex character in this area. We see a very, very consistent single-family detached character with similar lot size to the subject property. And the proposed rezoning would allow the subject property to be divided from one tract to two, and that new tract to be developed with a duplex dwelling. Petitioner has identified that as their intent, and based on the existing development surrounding the subject property, this would introduce a character dissimilar to the area. Zoning may not be that dissimilar, but the proposed use certainly would, and that would be a permitted use in the R5 zone district. With all that in consideration, staff recommendation in this case is for a denial based on dissimilar character to the surrounding community. Be happy to answer any questions.
Here to be. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Mr. Palomo?
Ana Palomo, 475 Donville Road, Northeast in Dalton. And we just want to build a duplex for family members, my parents, which are retired, and I just wanted to have them close to me, and a sister that's a mom of two, a single mom, and I just wanted to have them close to me, and that's the only reason why we wanted to have a duplex.
So why a duplex and not a house?
Because they don't want to be together.
Do what?
They don't want to live together, my sister with her kids, and she doesn't want to be with my parents like in the same.
So they have two.
Yeah, so we're
two
like
families.
two separate, they each have their own area.
Okay, gotcha. You have something?
No, I just want to clarify, it's two families.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody who would like to speak in favor? Anybody who'd like to speak in opposition? Sir?
Good evening. I'm Jason Denson from 1557 Brooker Farm Road, also representing 1547, 1548, 1555, 1559 Brooker Farm Road. This property's been in my family, soon to be fifth generation. At the end of Brooker Farm Road, you'll see to the right there several other residents that are here. These are all single-family homes. This Brooker Farm Road dead ends to my family farm. So we're just in opposition to this, just for the characteristic of everything else that's in the, that's on this street here. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else like to speak in opposition? Ma'am, would you like to rebut? Anything else you'd like to say? No. All right. Thank you. That said, we will close the public portion of that request. Which leads us to our last one. The county commissioners will be leaving us since the last one is a city issue. Metro Investments, are you here? No? No? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ethan. Anyhow, Metro Investments is seeking to annex 1.0 acres at 1822 Chattanooga Road in Dalton. This one is a city annexation question. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very simple request based on the fact that we do have between the city of Dalton and Whitfield County the unified zoning ordinance, meaning that zone districts are the same in those jurisdictions. So this would not include a rezoning, simply an annexation of the subject property. You can see that the subject property is entirely surrounded by the corporate boundaries of the city of Dalton and therefore is considered an unincorporated county island. And by their request, they would like to be annexed into the city. That would eliminate this county island, create a more consistent boundary for the city. And so therefore, the staff recommendation is a resounding recommendation to approve.
Questions? None?
Thank you.
Any do objections to this? No? Don't think so? Okay. That is the last item. Now we will go into a closed meeting and deliberate on each of these requests. You can sit and listen in, but you cannot take part. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Paul Bagby. This is the one up near the Tennessee line.
Move we approve as presented.
Chris makes motion to approve.
Second.
Eric seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the aye have it. The next one is Michael Fowler. This one is, if I can see this puppy. R2 to GA to add a second family dwelling.
I move that we approve this.
Second. Steve makes a motion to approve. Octavio seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Edward Ponders, Teresa Ponders. This one is GA to R5. Any comments?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Was that Eric?
Yep,
Eric makes
that
a
was
motion approved. Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. All right, Wise Home Builders.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Steve makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Jerry Johns. This one is from C2 to R2.
Move we approve as presented.
Chris makes a motion to approve. Eric seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Dennis Flowers, Melissa Flowers. This one is division of the property, GA to R5.
Move to be approved.
Second.
Octavia makes a motion. Steve seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. SDH, Rauschenberg Road, 52 acres, 150, to R3. Discussion.
Now, here's my take on it. You've got a significant number of lots in the county now that have been approved that are sitting there with no homes on them. They've got a thing right across the street that is still barely touched. In all the conversation, nothing was mentioned about the railroad track there at the base of Rauschenberg.
And the stop sign.
And it is a very, very busy rail corridor. I mean, it's kind of goes up and it always used to haul coal out of the mountains. Those three schools there, and with the amount of already approved lots in that general area, I think we need to let it catch up, let the ones there develop out, build out, and then down the road, if the infrastructure in that area will support the additional traffic and those things, reconsider. I think we just need to hit a pause on it right there for the time being.
Other comments? Steve?
Yeah, my comment really doesn't have anything to do, but if the pictures that were presented to us, I think somebody in the county needs to address that.
So there's runoff issues with
Runoff
the
issue.
original development.
If the original developer is causing that, and this development is over there across the street, I think, I won't oppose the development, but I will consider opposing it for the runoff of the water is causing the one in the front.
Okay.
And that issue needs to be resolved. I don't know, I mean, the pictures that they were showing it, that's the reason for me to oppose it.
Steve? Want to say something?
I'm concerned about the runoff also. I mean, I think we need the development, but I hear what Chris is saying. They're not going to develop it for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is something,
it's not going to begin.
this isn't tomorrow. This is an issue you can take a look at in a year's time, 2 years' time. They're not going to develop it at this time. And see what this runoff water has to do with it.
Okay. Steve, you want to make a motion?
You looked at me and said,
I said
Steve.
Steve.
Chris, you want to make a motion?
I move we deny.
Chris makes a motion, we deny. Second? Eric, seconds. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye, denials have it. It is denied. Okay. Dalton Whitfield Solid Waste Management. They just want to absorb
Move to be
this
approved.
property. Octavia makes a motion to approve. Chris seconds. Steve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Rodela Paniagua. This is the one on Hill Road.
Move that we approve.
Makes a motion to approve.
Yes.
Second.
Octavia. Steve makes a motion to approve. Octavio seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it for approval of the one on Hill Road. Rosa Lopez, this is one on Sheridan. That first turn, I think it is. Second turn, possibly, first turn. They're going to be moving, I mean, it's going to be going from septic to sewer.
Right.
It's going to be removing, was it the old trailers? The only thing that's going to stay is the house, right? Is that correct?
They're going to go from 3 dwellings to 11 dwellings at some point in time.
Yeah, at some
Probably
point in
not
time, yeah.
initially, but
I
at
mean,
some point in
It's got
time.
plenty of room, but
Yes.
the access will be according to the engineer.
The house is on septic.
If-
The present house,
But they could,
they need to.
they could probably drop into sewer. I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive.
They need to put that on sewer.
It needs to, if
Yeah.
there's a problem there at all,
Yeah.
whatever's built there needs to be on sewer.
And
So with the,
approve with the condition that
with
the
the
septic
condition.
will be removed. And
Yeah.
I will clarify that easement, because I think that,
Okay.
that would help.
Okay, so Octavia makes a motion to approve with clarification of the easement,
That it
the
belongs-
usage, and who uses it,
belongs to Rosa.
who maintains it and who owns it, and also that all the structures on there will be on city sewage.
City sewer. Second.
Steve seconds. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Carta Palomo, this is the one out on Dawnville Road, where it is essentially an island.
Pretty much north of Donville Road's all R2, south of it's,
Right.
or general ag, whatever that is.
Yep.
So
I got a question. If they divide the lot, can they build two houses?
In the existing zoning?
Yeah.
It's like it's got 1.85 acres.
Not big enough.
I don't think it's big enough.
No, okay.
Yeah, move with deny.
Chris makes motion to deny.
Second.
Steve seconds. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Metro Investments, looking to annex isn't that the old U-Haul place? Hmm?
So how did that get in the county?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
They just didn't want to pay city taxes.
Move we approve.
Chris makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Eric seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And that's that. Uh-oh, here comes Gene. Just when we're ready to call it quits. It felt like it.
I wonder if there's any banana pudding left.
But a good one.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
Long but good.
Have to push and shove to get in here.
Oh, we had this before?
Look at this.
Yes, ma'am.
This property is in the west side of the county. I'm looking at Walker County, to the south, at the bottom of your screen. So this is way on the west side, between Highway 201 and Mill Creek.
Yeah. Gotcha. One of those.
This is really what I want you to look at here. We're looking at a bunch of lots that need your approval. Lot number 7 is an obvious one. It's a flag lot. Large acreage, 10 acres. But they're doing a flag lot to get back to that county.
Oh, okay, the one in the middle. Yeah, gotcha.
Other lots that I've got highlighted on your screen, not on your paper, but on your screen. It's one that we've got where different regulations are kind of butting heads. The Environmental Health Department requires a lot to be 100 feet wide.
Yeah.
We have a septic system. In order to avoid doing a stormwater plan, a lot has to be at least an acre in size. To get an acre when you're 100 feet wide,
Be really long.
you're gonna exceed 400 feet. 435 feet is gonna get you an acre.
Yeah.
4 to 1.
And that is against the subdivision regulations, which needs your approval. So they have satisfied environmental health, satisfied stormwater, but they need your approval for these exceeding 4 to 1 lots.
And the flag lot.
And the flag lot, yes.
Now,
So each one of these,
they're gonna still have the storm.
No, they're not gonna do stormwater, they're gonna avoid it because everything's more than an acre.
Well, where does the runoff gonna go?
Well, I mean, that's not our problem.
No, it's
More
for,
than an acre,
yeah, it's okay.
stormwater,
And
people
they,
say
and
that
the
you've got
storm
enough
water say
land.
that it's okay?
yeah.
Sir?
The storm water people say that it's okay, not to
Yes,
have?
if you're more than an acre, they say it's okay.
1.002.
They're all 40, barely over an acre, right?
Yeah.
Close.
Mm-hmm.
Acre's a good size.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's,
Hey, I'm good with it. Somebody make a motion?
Where is, I mean, I'm good with it too. Where is that, Gene?
yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
West of Mill Creek? Oh, you're talking about the, yeah,
I'm so small, I can't read the roads.
This is
So here's Mill Creek.
Bab and
This is it?
Quarles.
Okay, I see it. Old Bab, okay. There's a subdivision on Corals.
Just to the
Oh, yeah.
north, this Brandon Harrison's built a whole lot of houses in those areas.
Guys have their own private stomping grounds, don't they? Hunting grounds.
Okay.
Motion? Eric makes a motion. Approve. Steve?
Second.
Steve seconds. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thanks.
I'm going back here.
Steve, I mean, Steve.
Oh, no.
I did it again.
It's all right.
He's going back there and scoff up all the banana pudding.
Last month, we approved this rezoning. You look on your screen, you'll see where it's located.
Yep.
This is David Armstrong.
Yes, I remember it. Yeah.
Most of what they're.
If you'll notice, most of the lots run along Easton Avenue.
Yeah.
The biggest lot, which is lot number 10, he is selling to the Marshes. They want that property to protect their house. So the biggest portion of his property is selling to the Marshes. He's building single-family houses along the
2 through 9, 1 through 9?
Okay.
that one,
Oh.
lot number 1 is a large acre, is a large lot also, but he already owned that, that was kind of a standalone. He purchased the Walston Avenue property from the, apartments across the street. It's one of his own developments.
Oh, okay, this is, yeah. I got you, your tennis court.
So this is not gonna be developed. This is gonna be developed too? No.
I mean, that's topographic, a little iffy too.
Possibly, but the city has told him he can't come off Wall Street, so
No.
I doubt that he'll ever see it.
I mean, it's starting to go down the hill from there, yeah.
Yeah, so 10 is the lot he's selling to the Marshes?
Yes.
Okay, so this was the one that was already zoned R5.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, this is,
This is good.
yeah.
And city plans have to come to the
Make a motion, we approve.
Steve makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye for approval.
That's better than an R7 going in there, or
Oh, yeah.
R5 duplexes, so,
I mean, it's right across from the old part, I call it the executive apartment.
yeah.
That's what it
right.
was when I came, that was
Yeah,
the
me-
first place I lived in Dalton.
Did you? Yeah. I mean, one of the best places, yeah. That,
Mixer jacket over here.
yeah.
That was the only one, and
I got a black vest
that
too.
was that, the Georgians and the Emirates.
Yeah, I lived at the Georgians.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my parents lived at the Emeralds. They called something else, yeah. Something like Georgian Place or something like
New
that.
Georgia or
Yeah.
the other
Good luck with
Georgia.
your,
Oh, jeez.
Gentlemen.
the
Merry
beach
Christmas.
house, lake house,
Merry Christmas.
same thing.
Merry Christmas.
I hear you.
Oh, jeez.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Questions are necessary. Otherwise, we just sit here like monkeys on a fence.
I'm gonna tell you. I've got to figure out when we're gonna actually approve something zoning wise.
The thing is, I told you, it's on Cavender Road, but until you started here, we were approving everything.
And, this, but when you look at that stormwater runoff.
Yeah, that's,
And the fact they've got.
Cavender Road, that's
needed.
raised there my whole life.
I drove out there.
Yeah.
I had a bad record.
20 years from now, they can come back in a year if they got a better plan.
It's low. It's low.
I slid off down in there back when I was about 18 and tore up a bunch of corn. And it was raining so hard, I went in there and the guy flipped the light on. Oh man, here he is. He said, what was you driving? I said, a Pontiac Ventura. You been drinking, boy? I said, no, sir. Well, step on in here. You look like a white rat. Thank you. This is where it's gonna beat me.
Same deal.
Well, I probably emailed and everything else.
Daddy, get to calling.
Yeah.
Call. Mother said, Daddy.
Oh, Gene. Who did the banana pudding? You? You do the banana pudding? Oh, my wife's gonna love me for real. Oh, good. It was good. Yeah?
What you want me to hook it to? Something big and round. I hooked it to a bumper support, pulled that thing out there, and one of them old hook records. He pulled me home now, he backed that thing up in the yard. Don, I paid him $1,500 for that, showed up. I had better look down there at that guy's house. Better look down there at that guy's house that I get that corn. Yeah. That's a long time ago. Long time.
I was late coming home one time.
Merry Christmas.
I'll never forget.
Merry Christmas.
I said from Southeast going home. It's about 3 in the morning and I catch another car and I make eye contact and just.
Your daddy? He wasn't as bad as I thought he was gonna be. He had a few words you couldn't repeat in church that he recited to me, but I didn't have any physical contact with him.
How old were you at that time?
Probably, that would have been, I've been 17 or 18.
I was 18.
Same to you, I
I
thought.
went out with a little old girl. I took this little girl home from the roller disco. Sure. And I fell in love with her mother. I did. I said, who's that? She said, that's my mother. I said, bye. I did.
What, she work at the roller disco?
No, she just over. I mean, she's about 16 or 17. I was about 18. And she got mad at a ride, so I gave her a ride home. I went over there. I did. I fell in love with her mother. Her mother was huge. I said, that really your mother? Oh, her daddy wasn't a big fan.
I'm certain.
He was headed to Sure Road. He told me to leave. She told him to get what's working, and they'd come in the house. I kid you not. Wonder I survived that whole ordeal. I about didn't make it on the way home.
That's what I'm for right there. Y'all have a good one.
See you.
That's a true story.
I just looked at it. I looked at the can of banana pudding. I'll eat that on the way home and slop it all over your door frame. You need to make it and nobody get real wacko. I figured that lady'd sit that camera up here and film on the freedom of right act.
You've been here the last.
Jason Henson broke out running up there. He was a Ford guy. One of the Brooker Farm Road.
Oh, yeah.
He come flying around sideways, didn't he? Seen the eyeballs, he just like.
No, trust me, no.
Oh, really? Anybody back in? Bunch of charts up here. Bunch of charts.
But they both have different editions. Yeah, and that's where, if you check the tax assessment, if it's zoned, if it's tax map has it, it's not.
See you later, Mr. President. Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Some old guy going, they said I had cancer. Yeah, I hear that. He goes, here we go. Yeah, no, I work in the building department. I've not heard any opposition. You hear them screaming over there. How many more rounds you got? About 50. I'll be here by the time I get shot out. And this one quit playing. Gets in there and gets arrested. The old guy, he goes, "So you got anything to say?" Yes, sir. Probably. Well, yeah, they, you know, it's just, they say, "I'm just almost scared. Man, I'm a bit dead, maybe I am." And my family, I'm still dead like this. Well, the doctor said I had cancer. I wouldn't want to recover. My job is to protect my family. You folks need to have me on these. I got a feeling there's a few more Vietnam vets and a few more people who will have on the place of China. It's wrong to do that. If you can't listen to us and you won't do what we say and you look down on us, you have to take it in your own hands. It's a shame that you do that. These folks telling the quarter beats don't respect us, and the people in there making the decisions don't listen to us, and the families all stressed out. They can't get any rest, and everybody's doing all these things to them, so it's not a Christian thing to do, but it's the only thing I can do. I look for you to make up the difference, to bridge the gap, to listen, to back away from it. I mean, I'm not saying. The only thing these guys can prove are subdivisions. I could see some houses catching on fire, I could see some fire inside the school. I could see some vehicles blowing up, I could see all kinds of stuff. If you got something on it, right frame of mind, it don't take much these days to walk down to Walmart and get shot. It don't take much to go down to the restaurant, run his mouth and get shot. It don't take much to get the wrong place at the wrong time to get shot. People aren't respecting anything but shooting. That's just another way of life. It is. Everybody says, you're on your porch. You see the guy pull up with that 300 Magnum and set that tripod out there? It was really. It was a gunfire, and I heard some gunfire, but I don't know where it come from. But couldn't you see somebody all stressed out like that, with their families all crying and squalling and bawling, and somebody keeps doing all this stuff, mud's running down, according to these people laughing at you when they come out. You live there all your life, people build all this stuff for you. When you kill 10 people, I asked them to be quiet. I asked them to be quiet. I asked them to turn it down. I asked them to do this. I asked them to do that. And they didn't. I'm not going to be around long. Put me in prison and bury me. That's all you can do. But them folks ain't over there anymore. They left. They said, that crazy man's going to kill us all. I got 5 more brothers. And they just moved in with me. They just moved in with me. They're from Kentucky. I don't know what to do. I don't advocate shooting anybody, but you almost think, I'll be up to John about voting that thing down, and you think that John wanted to point out that this was wrong, messed up. So, you know.
And they go back and forth with each other.
Well, that's why the guy said, we're going to get on, that's history.
The planning commission and the board commission lately have been back and forth.
They can get pretty rowdy.
Not just John, but
You can have
And
there's been
listen,
banter back and forth.
one of them up there about 3 months ago, this guy from here in the audience come up there and talk to him. Said, I live over around 103 Podunk Circle, and they want to put some cow and stuff up there. So he gets up there, and the lady gets up there and says they want to have 6 cows and a couple of dogs or something, blah, blah, blah. Well, they get up there and ask her a few questions, and the guy gets up here and goes, I got 15 600 foot from her or whatever, and I don't wanna hear all that. Well, one of them that they got talked to before made a motion to deny it. The other guy said, I'll second that motion. And they voted 4-0 to deny it. Well, they denied it. Well, I don't know if you was in here that night, but you had the commissioner meeting come up about 2-3 weeks later. They were on TV and here, that lady that got sick on that cleaning flood, I can't believe you mistreated her. She was on the TV. Well, she got on there. She brought them over to bring them in and fix. She said, made a motion for this, and there was no reason to deny that because such and such lives here, and such has got this, and such on this side is zoned that way, and such on this side is zoned that way. And such truly does live 600 foot and got 50 acres, but such and such don't have any right to overrule that. So the commissioners go, oh, is that right? Oh, we make a motion to deny it, or to approve it. So they made a motion, another one approved, and it's 4-0 approve it, so. But if that lady had been there on that TV, and then we make a motion to approve them like they were thrown out.
I tell them on that 150 houses they want to do that they denied return on Luxembourg. I said, with general agriculture, you can get almost 5 chicken houses for 56 acres. A 10 acre, you get to have 10 acres for one chicken lot. I said, tell the developers come in, say you're gonna put chicken lots, chicken houses in
Bring
there.
Eric with us, Nate, we want the real Eric, we don't want
I
the
said,
troublemaker.
do you want chicken houses, or do